to SOUQ Pulse. Thank you for hanging in there and being part of this show. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ. And on SOUQ Pulse, we'll tell you this straight line. Don't stop talking, no matter what it is, good, bad, somewhere in the middle, expecting, non-expecting, it's happening, it's not happening. Don't stop talking. When you see that business is growing, or like those in some parts of African countries, dollar has fallen, dollar is rising, your currency is rising, your currency is falling, you talk. Businesses across borders are making profit, you talk. Your government policies are working, they are not working, we talk. You say that food is coming to the table or leaving the table, you might not be able to explain how, but we talk. Your conversation will get to the right quarters, or it will get you to aggregate and take action and make something better. But no matter what, we don't stop talking. It's SOUQ Pulse, and today we are going to join in celebrations of what's happening, join in the season, and act and speak up on something. There is always a force around that makes things move. Things never move on their own. So today, in light of Good Friday, to every of the Christian brothers out there, we are going to look and ask ourselves direct question. Is it possible? Can we look forward to having an attitudinal change, embracing an attitudinal change with this season? We'll look at that on several aspects of society and also look at it personally, me, you, those around us. And we'll ask ourselves, can we embrace attitudinal change in light of Good Friday? I have a guest in the studio, and I'm going to introduce him now. Then we'll go on break, come back, and start this particular conversation. He's a veteran journalist, a broadcaster par excellence. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome Mr. Bayo Olaoye.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Pleasure. I'm delighted to be here, SOUQ.
It's always a delight to have you here. Okay. We are going on a break. We'll be right back.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the outer marina through Akpombo early into the Adeliji-Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. SOUQ Enlightenment.
Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is in no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodun Shodende in 1991, and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue, called the Three Wise Men, by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs, clad in white wrappers, knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists, are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the Eko greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Mirin. I'm a performing.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
SOUQ News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to SOUQ News.
So I'm happy that SOUQ TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the SOUQ News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think SOUQ News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and SOUQ News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Welcome back. It's still SOUQ Pulse, and we are looking at, from the season, we are looking at attitudinal change. Can we start from today and hold on to the essence of Good Friday and start looking at our attitude and asking ourselves some direct, specific questions, holding ourselves accountable to some certain things? To talk about this, we have no other but, like I introduced earlier, a veteran journalist, someone who has been in this broadcast industry for quite a very good time. And he can look back during his active younger days and tell us, from this period to this period, this is where we've lost it and this is where we should start catching up. Join me again as I introduce to us Mr. Bayo Olaoye. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Chooks. I think that Jesus Christ is the reason for the season. And in this Passion Week, as we wait for Easter, today, Good Friday, we have a lot to learn from the life of Jesus Christ. Here was a man, Son of God, born of the Blessed Virgin Mary, coming down as man to die for our sins. Selfless service. He died for us so that he can redeem our souls. And I think we can take a reflection from that. We can take a lesson from that. That in our present dispensation, our politicians have failed us in various respects. In the first place, they are not accountable. In the second place, they are too self-centered. They are selfish. and they are a law unto themselves. They don't obey the law. They don't obey court injunctions. They don't obey court orders. Jesus Christ obeyed the laws of God and the laws of man. And he died for our sins. As the Son of God and as God himself, he could decide not to do anything and just watch while we suffer. But he came down to suffer for us, to redeem us from eternal condemnation. It's unbelievable that a man can sacrifice himself on behalf of his friends. Can a man even sacrifice himself on behalf of his nation? No. How many of our Nigerians are patriotic enough to say, I can die for Nigeria? So we have a lesson to learn there, accountability. You are a politician. You are from the State House of Assembly. You are from the National Assembly. What have you done for your people? What is your vision for your people? And yourself, do you have integrity? Do you have respect for other human beings? Are you humble? Jesus Christ was humble. He washed the feet of his disciples. And he respected his parents, he respected his mother and father, and was always willing to obey them. So it's multifaceted.
Okay, let's start from this. I like the way you started. You went directly to the leaders, then you came to the people a bit. You even touched Christ when he was still a child with
yes.
the Spirit. Now, this is Easter, and the celebration is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And there is nothing that encapsulates his dying, if not love.
Yes.
Now, can we look more like self-love? The Holy Book says, love your neighbor as thyself, which means if you don't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. Do we love ourselves that much in Africa?
I don't think so. You see, our colonial masters have divided us politically, geographically, and spiritually. In the sense that the Francophone does not like the Anglophone, and the Anglophone does not like the Portuguese speaking. In Africa, that's the way it is. So when you go to conferences or you have business discussions, there's this innate mistrust. There's this innate disbelief, distrust in other African countries, except we belong to the geographical line where they come from. So in Africa, yes, we are not united because of our political differences. And these political differences have been brought in by our colonial masters. It has killed our culture, it has killed our music, it has killed our political system, and it's affecting the lifestyles of the people, especially the young ones.
Okay, now, before you get down to the young ones, can we say at what point can we now start telling ourselves, hey, love yourself? Because if you don't love yourself, just like we postulated, you can't love your neighbor. Before we start going across boundaries within, let's say, Ghana, why should they be having communal clashes? Because they don't love themselves. What they can settle, sit down, there would normally be conflict, but what they can settle and sit and settle ends up in a clash. Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, they just got a new president who is still very young. Issues that can be settled together. Can't we start exploring and let's stop foreign interference and settling our own issues?
The problem is leadership. The problem is leadership in Africa. Most of our leaders are sit-tight emperors or whatever, who don't want to go, who want to sit tight. They won't want to other elections. They won't want an opposition. In a democracy where you don't tolerate opposition, it cannot be viable. So, once again, it's our colonial masters who are intervening and causing disruption and crisis among the political elites. Yes, we have bad leaders in Africa, but still people can still come together in the interest of the continent. This is where I'm not happy with the AU, African Union. They've not done much to talk about this question of stability, accountability, and integrity. I dare say that most of our African leaders don't have integrity because they want to sit down there. At the end of the day, they have siphoned so much money abroad, leaving their people impoverished, poor, and starving.
Okay. African leaders, this question keeps coming, this kind of answer keeps coming up. African leaders, African leaders. Now we're having a new set of leaders. There has been several elections across West Africa, Nigeria, Senegal. Then in some other part of West Africa, some Francophone countries, they've had coup. And we've had new set of leadership there too. So with time, we'll get to see what exactly is going to come up from this change in government. But now let's come back to the people, looking at the death of Christ. He died because he loved. He resurrected. Okay, that should be like on Monday. Good. So he resurrected again to give salvation. Can we now start telling ourselves some basic truth? When you look yourself in the mirror, every single one, you know, I'm talking to you too, you look yourself in the mirror, you know those things you do, you shouldn't be doing. When can we start telling ourselves, SOUQ, change. SOUQ, stop this. SOUQ, be a better person.
Our people are gullible. I'm sorry to say that. They can buy propaganda and buy mistruths and buy falsehood just by the snapping of the fingers. In other words, poverty has eaten deep into the fabric of our people. As a result, they just take hook, line, and sinker, what the politicians tell them. So they don't know the meaning of democracy, really. They don't know this. It's very sad. They are not made to identify and acknowledge what true democracy is. As a result, this leadership, the leadership goes on, rides on without any intervention whatsoever. So I think the people too are not, poverty has a way of doing it, education has a way of doing it, and apathy. People are not bothered about their leaders. They don't question their leaders. They regard their leaders as sting gods and just take whatever comes to them. For the youth, is the opportunity to ask questions. Our own generation didn't ask questions because we thought we were loyal, we thought we were patriotic, or we thought that, well, don't rock the boat. But now the youth have to do something. Africa cannot continue in this state of anarchy, poverty, crisis, and hunger. No, something has to be done by the youth.
If something has to be done, charity begins at home, which means the home front must stand. Okay. Now let's go back to a lot of cultures that are not ours, a lot of cultures that are not Christ-like, that is coming into the mainstream. Is it possible that we start calling ourselves out? Instead of waiting for a neighbor or a media house to call, is it possible that right from the house we start calling ourselves out? When you see something strange in your house or close to your neighbor's house, that you say, hey, no, this is not who we are. This is not where we came from. This is not what our fathers stood for.
Unfortunately, the institutions set up by government to tackle these issues are moribund, are inefficient and ineffective. I am talking about the National Orientation Agency for Nigeria, which is supposed to nurture and educate the people on the values, patriotic values and patriotic vision of the country. And that has not been done. There are many instances where you see that the National Orientation Agency should have come in to talk to the people, educate them, enlighten them, guide them. And the recent kidnappings and whatever that has been all over the place, the NOA should have done better in enlightening especially the young ones, especially the young ones. The last election in Nigeria has made many youths to be nonchalant. But it's their country. They have to do something about it. The young ones have to be interested in the democratic process and not abandon it to touts and never do wells. Those of them who are educated, those of them who are exposed to, should join the race, contest for elections, be interested in what is happening around them, and ask questions, really. Ask the political leaders questions. The huge allocation that you have been given, what have you done with it?
The huge allocation you have been given, what have you done with it? That's like 1,001 question, all wrapped in one bag. Okay, before we let you go, can you, from your experience over the years, will you give an advice to this set of younger people in this media space right now? We have a stain whereby they say he that pays the piper takes the tone, and it's very rampant in this profession. Can you, in light of Good Friday, tell the younger ones in this profession the best practices to go when it comes to journalism and the media?
When it comes to media, the first thing is integrity. The second is you have to be disciplined. Number three, you have to work very hard. You don't have to have any deadline. You have to work 24/7 if you want to be a top journalist. And you don't have to cut corners. There's no easy route to success in broadcasting or journalism. You have to pay your dues. You have to work very hard. You have to read books. You have to listen to the best speakers, listen to the world leaders, get interested in international affairs, get interested in the economy. Then as a youth, you can discuss with the elders and get to know what is happening. Another problem with the youth is that they sit back and sometimes they don't want to engage with the elders because they feel they are old-fashioned. I am 74 now, going to 75. But some youths, between the brackets of 40 and 50, they don't feel comfortable to sit down and discuss national issues with people like us, either because they are indeficient or I don't know. But that's not the way to do about it. The young must embrace the youth, the old, and the old must acknowledge and counsel the youth. The youth have to know God, they have to respect the elders, they have to be humble. The extravagant lifestyle of youth will not pay anybody.
That's a deep one. The extravagant lifestyle of you watching, you clicking, you on the other side, myself inclusive, it will not pay anybody, especially in this economy.
Yes.
We want to say thank you very much, sir,
I'm
for
grateful.
honoring us this beautiful Good Friday. Yes. We are going on a break, and when we return, we'll have 2 more guests come join us, and we will still ask that same question: how can we better our behavior, our attitude, the way we relate, and our country, our continent? Don't go anywhere.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State, on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with the Daily Service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as Executive Governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Yinka Babalola.
My name is Ijoma Pelokoro.
My name is Joshua Hassan.
I am Rotarian or Mosunde Lawson. It's Ife Yonwarita Ejeze. My friends call me Ife.
My name is Rotarian Lola Dare.
I'm inviting you to keep watching SOUQ News. It's the right station to tune to.
I like SOUQ News. SOUQ News is good.
I want to charge you all to listen to SOUQ News, watch the news. You can have unlimited news, first time.
Find SOUQ News. Be with SOUQ News. Never switch off. You are better for it. SOUQ News is the real thing.
Listen to their coverage and you'll be glad you did.
Turn to your YouTube, turn to your Instagram, turn to all your digital channels and look for SOUQ News.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Please, guys, keep watching
SOUQ News.
The National Theatre, Igomu. Built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, FESTAC, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of a legendary contemporary Nigerian artist, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged FESTAC 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Expert Stroll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theatre complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and
Hello and welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. It's been a nice, beautiful day. And for those that are not aware, we have we had Baba, we call him Baba, we had Baba Bayo Olaoye in the first part of SOUQ Pulse, and he went some places that were a bit far, but yes, he made a whole lot of sense. And we know that we have to sit, listen, and change. Not changing for somebody else. Change for you. It's Good Friday, and we are asking ourselves direct questions. In this particular season, should we start, can we start embracing attitudinal change? With me is younger people, way younger people than our first guest. So now we are coming to this generation, not Alphas, not Gen Zs, but the good side of it. I have with me Ikenna Mba. Good afternoon and welcome to SOUQ Pulse.
Good afternoon, Trooks. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome.
And I also have Lovina Emma. Good afternoon and welcome to SOUQ.
Good afternoon, Trooks. And how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fine.
Okay.
You can see for yourself.
Yes, I can.
Now, we are looking at this, it's straightforward.
Yeah.
Now, we keep hearing a lot of news that we don't put on SOUQ News, because here we are all about positive programming. And now we're asking ourselves, at what point should we start telling ourselves, when you look at the mirror, especially this particular Friday, if you look at the mirror right now, what will you tell yourself, stop doing?
Okay, can I
I'm
go?
not asking you.
Okay.
Tell the guy there. What will you tell your neighbor or yourself? Hey, guy, please, stop doing. Now, talking for Nigerians now, before now go to Ghanaians or Senegalese or Nigerians or Algerians. But now let's start with you.
Okay, do you remember this Michael Jackson song? Okay, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
I wasn't there when it was sung.
Okay, it's just, I like Michael Jackson a lot. It's a song I actually like. So if you want change, start with yourself, first of all. So when you look in the mirror and you see certain things that you don't like, start with yourself. And you know the popular saying, remove the log in your eye before you remove the speck in another person's eye. So exactly. Most of the time, people complain about issues we see in our society, particularly in this country, and then they complain about it, they say they want change, but personally, you on your own, have you put that change? Have you, in your personal space, in your environment, in your place of work, in your home, are you putting those changes that you keep complaining about? Is it reflecting on you? Because during this period, I know this Good Friday, Easter period, everybody is talking about, if I'm allowed to say, the reason for this season is to celebrate that Jesus Christ is risen again. But things like forgiveness, do we actually practice it? Do we love one another, kindness to each other? Do we reflect all these things? So that's what I would actually say about what you just asked me. If I'm going to look at myself, if I want changes in people, I would actually say, first of all, let me start with myself before I look at the next.
So, Lovina, what are you going to change?
What am I going to change about myself? Okay, let me see. I would say I would change my response to certain situations. Like I shouldn't be easily triggered. Okay. I should actually work on myself in that aspect. I don't be easily triggered. Try to have more, try to have more self-control more
self-control.
Yes.
Okay, now Ikeda, I'm coming to you.
I'm ready, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, thank you very much, but don't load. Don't load. Now, we get to see our society. Okay, that is also kind of vague. Our environment, we get to see a lot of misbehavior from younger people, from children. Growing up, if I make a mistake outside, my neighbor will flog me first before I get home. And woe betide me if I have another neighbor, they will flog me first. Then if I get home, when my parents see me, they will first ask that neighbor outside, did you see him coming? What did you do?
To get the grand finale.
So if he did not flog me well, they will send me back. Now, do we see that family unit where everybody is responsible for everybody? Is it still there?
To answer your question directly, no, it's not there anymore. And it has become a thing of concern. Like you said, I remember clearly one of those days when I think I did something in school, I can't remember what it was, and the beating started from getting home. Like I was already crying on my way home because I knew what was going to happen. My parents were in the army, so we were raised quite strictly. So I was crying my way home. And on the way, why are you crying? So you attracted neighbors, and I got a fair share of the stern corrective measure, okay, before you get home. And I get, like I was saying to you, I now get the grand finale. And what that did for us, people begin to misconstrue the fact that it's abuse. Right now, people they find words, nice sounding words for wrong things. Then that would put you in check. Like there's something I also call, getting a memorable beating, like, that will be corrective, where if you have done something grievously wrong, when you think about the beating, it checks you. But right now, we don't have a lot of that. We have what I call children having children, where parents are not even parents anymore. Because people get married because the next person got married. People have children because the next person has children. So now, you don't even know how to raise those children. You can't talk to a teenager correctively now because they're like, who are you to tell me what to do? But that's why we have that problem that we have termed Gen Z. Because we want things how we want them, where we want them, when we want them. We weren't raised like that.
Okay. They want things how you want them, when you want them, and what's the last one?
Where you want them.
Where you want them. Now, let's tell ourselves this basic thing. On SOUQ Pulse, we say Africa get productive. On SOUQ Pulse, we say beautiful policies, maybe in Asia, doing well or not doing well. We ask ourselves, where did they go wrong? Are they getting it right? How can we emulate? We look at the West and we say, this race they are running, where can we copy? This race they are running, how are they doing it? These things they are doing. And now it boils down to this, the human factor. It takes man to live. There's no living without a human being. Good. And there's no human being without the propelling force of that particular person. Now, nobody is an island. Everybody is living with other people on this particular planet Earth. We all need each other. Now, also stemming from the Good Friday, do we love our neighbors? Are we taking responsibility for our neighbors?
We're not. We're not.
We are not. Emma, I'm not saying do you, because I happen to be your neighbor. So are we taking responsibility for our neighbors?
Are we taking responsibility for our neighbors? That's a very good question, Chooks. Okay, in regards to that, I would say we are all at fault at one point in time or the other. But to answer to that question honestly, yes, I think so. In my own way, yes, I am actually taking responsibility for my neighbors. I actually believe I am like that popular, like what our good Lord said, love your neighbor as yourself. So if I have to look at my neighbor and there's something I can help him or her with, yes, most certainly, I am.
If you have to look at your neighbor, so if you have to look at me right now,
yes,
and there's something that you think I need,
yes,
you will most certainly.
Yes, if it's within my capability
okay,
to
if
help
it's within,
you.
Okay, you didn't add that part.
If it is within my capability to help you, certainly I will definitely do that for my neighbor, because the same things I do for myself, yes, I should also do that for my neighbor. That's the only way I can show that practical love. That's the only way I can show it.
Ikenna, is poverty making us selfish?
Wow, that's a good one. I think partly it does that, because they say a hungry man is an angry man, you know. And when hunger sets in, and when I say hunger now, I'm referring to the need for something that you can't get at that point. So it's not necessarily food, you know, like you want to go somewhere, you can't get there because for lack of funds. You want a certain person to do something for you, but you don't have access to that person, you know. When hunger sets in, it makes people do certain things. It makes people sell themselves out. It makes people sell other people out, you know. So when you say poverty, I'm looking at it from every angle, not just money. I'm looking at it as deficiency of funds, deficiency of good character, deficiency of the training that is required. So the deficiency of many different things, yes, it makes us do crazy things.
Hope you know there's also poverty of the mind and poverty of the head.
Exactly what I was referring to. Poverty across board, not just funds. It makes us, you know, it brings the animal in us out, which is a sad situation.
Well, the us you're talking about, you need to be specific.
When I say us, I'm talking about across board, humans, not just Nigerians, not just black people, across board.
Okay, you wanted to add to it?
Yes, I want to add that poverty doesn't necessarily make us unkind to each other. There have been situations where people, in spite of their poor condition, offer to help other people. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of this Project Change documentary. These people who created this NGO decided to carry out experiments on total strangers. Now what they do is that they could be in need of help, and they could be standing by the road, and most of the time, it's often people who are downcast, who are downtrodden, that often help. So the scenario that I watched, actually, there was a man who was actually looking for food, and he kept begging people, and everybody was ignoring him, walking back and forth. And then the person who stopped to help him was a beggar with one leg, who said, okay, you need money for food. Okay, here, take this. From his own small bowl that he had actually been begging from. So it's not, yes, there have been cases where people, as you rightfully said, an angry man is a hungry man is an angry man, but there are situations where people in that same poverty still offer to help others, still show the best kind of humanity to other people. So it's not all the time that you have those kind of situations, not all the time.
A poor person is still a human being.
Yes.
Good. So that he's poor, maybe materially, does not make him poor.
Yes, mentally it does not. Yes, that's very true. But in terms of showing
but
kindness...
when it comes to classification, people classify once you're poor, they think there's something wrong with you.
No, not all the time. But in terms of showing kindness kindness to one another, people who are downtrodden in the society offer the best kind of humanity to people in need of help. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not all the time you have that.
Okay, since we are looking at behavioral change, attitudinal change, can we now start looking at some agencies in Africa, let's say Nigeria? Is police your friend? You're quiet. Is police your friend?
That's a direct question.
Yeah,
it's a direct. Is police your friend?
I would answer it like this. There's book knowledge and there's practical knowledge.
Okay.
There's theory and there's practical.
Okay.
So in the books it says police is your friend.
Okay.
But practically we have seen countless and numerous situations where the police did not practicalize that they are your friend.
Okay. Can we start from this? Aside the uniform,
yes,
he's a human being. And if you treat a human being right, the human spirit in the man will show forth.
Yes.
But for every human, even before you meet the person, if within yourself you've considered this person evil, that is the side that will show forth.
Okay.
So can we start looking forward to...
Now, sorry to cut you short. In many cases, I've witnessed this, I've experienced this myself. In many cases, you are responding to someone humanly as possible, but the person still has some aggression. They never met you before. For instance, a policeman, he stops you. Not all, but I'm talking about my experiences. He stops you. He has aggression. He's coming with that. So you're coming with, how are you? How are you doing? How's your day? And he's like, calm down. Who are you talking to like that? I've seen one where the guy was responding and the guy whacked the guy across the face. It was a viral video.
And something was definitely wrong with that person.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So everybody,
he's not representing our police.
Everybody in that instance,
want to add,
it doesn't always, apply like that. But many times people come like that. Even when you're humanly responding to them, they're not responding humanly. That's the point I wanted to make.
There's also a preconceived notion when dealing with Nigerian police. We've heard lots of stories about them. So when you meet them face to face and the next thing you are thinking, I heard this, I heard that, and your mindset is like, these people again. That's the first thing that you think. But if you decide to discard all those stories or everything that you have heard and you respond positively, you say, oh, good morning, sir, how are you today? Most of the time, when I respond positively to them like that, instantly they calm down, they change, they also respond. I'm just speaking from experience.
Calm down, change. So what were they before?
No, they could get aggressive if you give them attitude. Like I have been like driving at night and then get stopped at a police checkpoint and then...
Which is supposed to be there. They are there for your safety.
Certainly. And then the question, anything for the boys, like why?
Anything for the boys is not an issue.
They are paid to stay there. They are paid to stay there.
Anything for the boys could be a good greeting. It could be a conversation starter.
Thank you that you are saying it could.
I don't know if you understand.
Also, there's the other end of the spectrum.
Okay. Now let's. Why are we saying this? Because for every one of us, we have to have an attitudinal change.
Correct.
Be it to the police, be it to government, civil service, be it to agencies, be it to your family, be it to your business, be it to political office holders. In light of Good Friday, we need to start looking at ourselves. Apart from having a behavioral change and also calling ourselves out. Because that was like the first thing we did, say put a mirror and ask ourselves certain questions. So if we say don't stop talking, yes, we started with the police. Hey, don't feel bad. NEPA is there. For those that don't know, NEPA is a power...
The new name is PHC and Power Holding Company of Nigeria.
That's where the issue is.
Yes.
NEPA. So you understand. So things work in this country. Most times people say, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Says who? Things can get better. Should be a better language. And not just things can get better. We work towards making them better. And at points where, this is not where the issue is. Now let's ask this question. At how many times do we get to see, let's say, Nigerians or Ghanaians insist on service delivery? Instead of just say, that's what them be, and walk away.
In many cases, I have seen people insist, and it has escalated when it shouldn't be. It shouldn't escalate, because one of the things that it's as if there's something inherently wrong.
Is there?
Somewhere with someone or some people. Because when they say feedback is a breakfast of champions. So when you get feedback, it's for you to take it, apply, see if you should apply. If it doesn't apply, you discard, but you take it, you process. So when I've seen many times people insist on their right or the right thing, or in love correct you, it escalates and it becomes a problem. There's shouting, sometimes fisticuffs, and blood shed many times. One time, for typical example,
service delivery.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking service delivery now.
Service delivery. Don't go towards the extreme. We're still on SOUQ News.
Okay,
service delivery.
Insisting
on service delivery.
Oh, yeah. Many times. Yeah, please.
We are coming to you
going
directly.
to a government hospital and the nurse is very rude to you, and then you need to speak with a doctor.
It must not be a government hospital.
Okay,
going to a hospital.
Okay, going to a hospital.
Whoever owns the hospital.
It doesn't matter.
You're speaking from experience, right?
Yes, I'm speaking for experience. And then she's dragging her feet, and then you're insisting.
She has a behavior issue.
She has a behavior issue, but this is not a.
You're representing a
let me
institution
also add,
now.
Yes. Let me also add that when you have to take your sister-in-law to the hospital for an antenatal checkup, and then she insists on saying, that's the nurse aside, and she finally meets the doctor, and then the doctor is like, if I'm allowed to say this in pidgin English.
Go as long as it's embassy certified.
No, be me gets you pregnant. That's the...
But he said the truth. He's not the one that got her
pregnant.
No,
he's not. But if she has some issues that need to be, if she's talking about, this is how I feel, and then your response to that is, no, be me gets you pregnant. And you're a doctor. This is an educated person. He doesn't speak right of these people. No, it does not.
Of that person.
Yes, of that person.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Now, this is another issue: generalization.
Okay.
Now, there will always be bad eggs. Now, people will always have off days.
Oh, definitely.
Now, if we classify people in their bad state and judge them on their bad state, then we are having issues because you've just zeroed the person.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand. Now, if that particular person that had a bad day, you now use him to classify his colleagues in the same profession.
No, that's wrong.
Good. So this is Good Friday. So we are telling ourselves, we can do better. We can be better. We can also say better. So, Emma, where are we going from there?
Okay, well, like I said at the beginning, yes, this change starts with us. I feel if we look at certain flaws in society, whether it's providing services, whether we are asking for help or providing services, if we look at certain flaws and we complain, I feel we should always start with ourselves. As I look at yourself, are you making those changes that you complain about? Are you being polite to your neighbor? Are you being helpful to your neighbor? Are you offering help when it's needed? Are you being polite to this total stranger you have never met? Are you being kind? Do you love your neighbor as yourself? So most of the time when I close from the office and I'm going home and then maybe I get obsessed with the bus conductor, I still try to look at, okay, where is he coming from? Why is he behaving like this? Then I always try to offer the whole, okay, you be the good, there's good cop, bad cop in my head. So you be the good cop and be kind to this person. And then you see a much better response from the person. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Ikenna.
That's not always the case, but for me, there are key words that guide me, right? Consciousness. You must be, because if you're not conscious, you can't affect the other person. You must see, you must know before you begin to react or respond accordingly. Am I my brother's keeper? That's another thing. Because eventually, if you're your brother's keeper, you are treated how you have treated someone. So as you are your brother's keeper, your brother automatically is your keeper. Thirdly, we must be teachable. You can learn from a baby, you can learn from a child. But all these things, many times we seem to break this, I call it common sense rules, because to be conscious is common sense. To be teachable is common sense, because we're learning till the day we croak, So these are the things for me that stand out, that guides attitudinal change, because when you apply these things, no one tells you, because no one changes anyone. You change yourself. So when someone is bent on trying to change you, that's a dead on arrival journey or initiative. So when you witness these things, someone is kind to you, automatically you want to be kind to the person. Someone is conscious for you, like, oh, your shoes are not polished. Come, let me help you. You know, you look sad. What's going on? And they're willing to hear. You know, not like, good morning, how are you? And they're walking up. How are you? Wait and listen to how I am. You know. So these are the things that guide attitudinal changes, and let's do better.
Thank you very much. Emma, thank you very much for coming. Lovina Emma, thank you.
Yeah,
I like that rounded smile.
Yes, I'm happy to be on SOUQ Pulse. I find it very interesting. I enjoy watching your program. So yes.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, so you can bring me again to your program.
Ikeda, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chooks.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Remember, it's SOUQ Pulse, and if we say get productive and say don't stop talking, we're also talking to you directly. It's Good Friday. We are celebrating the death of Christ, and by Easter, he is risen. He died for a reason. Yes, he rose for a reason. Because of you, because of me. So it doesn't matter what you believe, but for this season, let's reflect and tell ourselves, are you treating the next person the way you want that person to treat you? Are we looking at Africa and Nigeria and saying, hey, let me play my part in making this nation and this continent grow the way you want it? Thank you. Let's reflect. And we'll do this again on Monday. Thanks for being there. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ. Have a beautiful Easter. Bye.